So here's a question for you. What exactly is a game? How would you define it to someone who has never played a game? Not even just a video game, but just like a game in general. What are the requirements that distinguishes a form of activity that is a game from not a game? Right? It's kind of a blurry line, and it's gotten even blurrier in the recent years with many games becoming more of an experience. Things that we thought were required to be a video game or a game in general, a lot of games have come out and said, no, we don't want to stick to that. We're going to do our own thing. So you may have heard of some of these games. They are more of experience-based. A lot of times there's no combat. Sometimes there's no even real mechanics besides just moving around and reading things. And they can still be extremely engaging and fun to play. So we have to broaden our definition of what a game is. It used to be that a game was something that you would play, had strict rules, you could win or lose, and then some other things mixed in there. But from a super wide, broad view, it's more like a game is just something that you can do with your time and you can enjoy it. So with a super loose definition like that, as a game designer, you have a lot more freedom now. So anything that you want to create, any kind of experience that you want the player to have, will probably be considered a game. And because of that, as a game designer, you now have the freedom and the flexibility to do whatever you so desire. Now, for traditional games, like the ones we are going to create, a game is going to consist of rules, mechanics that the player can do, and a win and loss condition. So they're going to be fairly traditional in that sense. You're going to go from one level to the next. There's going to be some combat, and then eventually you'll be able to beat it, or you'll be killed and you'll have to restart. That's what a game usually is, and still normally consists of. So if you're going to make a traditional game that is not just an experience for the player, you're going to want to keep those things in mind. The win and loss condition is going to be important. The mechanics that the player has are essential for how they play it and what they get to experience it as. And so right now is both a great and kind of a terrifying time to be a game designer. You have total freedom in what you get to make, and pretty much everyone will consider it a game as long as it produces some kind of experience for the player. But that being said, you also have a lot of pressure to produce that experience, something that is memorable and exciting and engaging. So if you know what you want to make, focus on that experience. Sometimes that experience will come from reading text, hearing people talk, or challenging the player with doing specific actions or critically thinking or solving puzzles. There's so many different ways to engage the player and give them an experience that you really have total freedom when it comes to designing your games, which is really, really cool. But what we're going to tackle next is the ability to lose your game, because still, that's an important aspect. You need to be able to win, or you need to be able to lose. Sometimes both, but at the very least, you need to be able to lose, which is what most endless runners games these days have, is that you can lose. So we're going to look at implementing that in our snake game next.